years ago, Mom had hip surgery, and we were in Pittsburgh. Irene was there with us. My brother Michael said, "You got 2 years. 2 years to watch over Mom." But she was struggling. She was 85, she was struggling. So I went down there the other weekend. When I didn't go, Michael went the other weekend. Mary-Elaine went on Mondays and Wednesdays. Nikki was there Tuesdays and Thursdays. Edna was there on Friday. And Teddy was there basically 7 days a week. Whenever she needed something, he lived close by. So for 10 years, we did this. And I'm just so blessed that we had that time with her. We had time to kiss her on the forehead and tell her we love her. We had time to be there for her. Because she was always there for us. Always there for us. And she was really proud of her parents. Those pictures in the bedroom wall for as long as I can remember. And we were all 7 of us were going down the stairs. She loved the kids. She made no money. And what she did make, she spent it on us. So as we get older, we had the. She never disciplined me at all. When I got in trouble, it was wait till Marion gets home. You're in trouble. If I didn't take the dog for a walk, I was in big trouble when Marion got home. And as I got a little bit older, and it was in the middle of the 70s, we all had long hair, and we got in trouble. It was, I'm going to send you to Nikki's. And when we went to Nikki's, first thing he did was took us down and we had all shaved the hair, completely shaved. And before that, when Teddy and I used to fight like cats and dogs, she would pack up a suitcase, and then she said, "I'm going home. I'm going back to Germany." And Teddy and I would just start crying, "Not Joe, Mom, don't go." So it was, she's all we had. I mean, when I was born, 3 of my grandparents were dead. My 4th grandparent lived in East Germany. I met him for 2 weeks twice. I had him for a month. My dad was dead at 3. I didn't know my dad. So I had mom, dad, and 4 grandparents. All wrapped up in one. So I'm sorry, but she was tough. She was tough. When I was 10, I had a bicycle accident with my best friend, and he died. My best friend died. I struggled for years. Mom was always there. She was always there for me. And she was the best. And then when I get a little bit older, we had the best neighborhood. Gary and Doug Frizzell, Brian St. Meyer, Jeff Poling, Julie, John Beresford, and my best buddy, Johnny Matones. Well, we sit on the curb down the street, and Brian was the ringleader, so he was another guy. So Mom would call us a bunch of hoodlums. We were hoodlums and good for nothings. And she'd yell, she opened the door and yelled for us. It didn't matter where we were at. She just yelled, "Bash you!" So I heard about that for years and years and years. So my name was Mashu for the longest time. But I did. Later on, we used to sit in the back. Since I was there every other weekend, I stayed in the house with her, and she told me all the stories over and over. And the story she was most proud of was her house. I'm not sure if any of you have been to her house, but she said that she walked, Nikki and Edna and Marion used to walk around the neighborhood, and she wanted this house. And she said, she knocked on the door and said, "Would you like to sell your house?" And the lady said, "No, we're happy here." But somehow the lady got Mom's phone number, and she called her 2 weeks later and said, "You still want to buy her house?" And Mom said yes. And the lady said $10,500. And Mom offered 10. And Mom would always tell you she offered 10, but the lady insisted on $10,500, and she knew that's what she paid for that house, $10,500. So the story goes that Dad did not make enough money at the conduit plant in Glendale where he worked to buy the house. This house, the bank wouldn't approve his loan. And my Uncle Mike, as you can all know, we're all named after our uncles and aunts in our family. Uncle Mike got him on at the coal mine in 1957, and he got a bump in pay, and he was able to afford the house. But unfortunately, 10 years later, because Dad wanted to provide a nice house for his family, he lost his life in the coal mine by changing jobs. But Mom always carried a little bit of weight for that. She always told me that story that if she didn't want the house, Dad may never went to the coal mine. But she was always saddened by that story. And then, you know how they have these Google phones and all these phones, and you can pull up any song you want to pull up. And when I was a kid, Mom would sit by the window and she'd sing "Que Sera, Sera" by Doris Day, and she'd sing it all the time.
In front of the sunshine.
Huh? You know, right in front of the sunshine coming through the window. So about 9 to 10 years ago, I pulled my Google phone and I got Doris Day up and I played "Que Sera, Sera." And she said, I said, "Mom, you remember this song?" And I would thought she would be happy to hear it, on my radio. I could pull up her German songs, but this one song always stuck in my mind she liked. So I played it, and she said, "Matt," when I was down the most and was depressed as I could possibly be, and I didn't think I could go another day, I was singing that song. And she looked out the window and she said, "Well, yeah, whatever will be, will be." And Mom had a big life in front of her in Germany. She was very well educated. Private education meant to marry somebody who got sent off to the war at 16 and get killed. And she was a very, very proud woman. She told a lot of stories, but later in life, I'm not sure if they were all true. But she loved Edna, because when Edna was born, I'm not sure. She told me the story when Edna was born. She wasn't sure she wanted to come back to the United States. And my mom's uncle and aunt couldn't have children, so they wanted Edna. And Mom said, "No, you're not taking my child." And Dad was coming back to the United States, and Edna came with him. But she loved all of us. And to be honest with you, I'm lucky to be in this family. I'm 6 or 7. And when I went to school, they'd already paid the path for me. Everybody knew who I was, and it was fairly nice to have that. And then I had Mr. and Mrs. Zervis over here in Glendale. I used to run track, and there's only one kid in the whole Marshall County and 2 counties, only one kid that could beat me, and it was Nick. My own cousin was the only one who could beat me in junior high. And so we're running against Union, and I got Nick by maybe about 20 yards when on the last 3/4 of a mile. No, not 3/4, about the lap. I got him about 15, 20 yards, and he kicks it in, and he passes me up. And I try to catch him. I get within about 5 yards of him. And his dad, for some reason, was down there on the field. His dad came up and gave me a great big hug and said, let Nick go by. And call him Uncle John, but he's been and Aunt Sophie, they've been the best people in the world for me ever since 7th grade. They've been terrific, and Irene and I grew up in the same class, and she's helped us throughout. She's helped the whole family somewhere along the line. It's just been very fortunate. And then Uncle Teddy, his family, out there in Colorado, we were the only. There was 2 sides of the family, maybe 3 if I want to understand. There was an aunt, but there was Uncle Frank and my grandfather. Most of our family lived somewhere else. And my dad was number 9, and their dad was number 10. Okay, so we all got numbers. The Greek family, you get numbers. And so Uncle Teddy was he was the closest thing to Dad.
Yeah.
He was by far, if you wanted to know what Dad would look like or how he behaved, we looked at Uncle Teddy. And when they came over, it was a celebration. When they came to visit us, Mary-Elaine and Stratton and Nick, it was like the biggest thing because we didn't vacation. We had visitors every now and again. We could afford a vacation. So that was the big event for the summers when we had visitors from Colorado. So it was very special. And well, when I got married, my wife Marie back there, she worked a lot. She worked a lot of weekends. And so one day we decided to go to my brother Michael. Michael's always had a really nice house in most of the visitors. So I took Brian and I took Nicholas, who was just a baby. I mean, he was 2 months old. I just handed him off to Mom. Got there, Mom was a pro. She handed it off to her, and she took care of it for 3 days. She took care of Nicholas, and I didn't have any issues at all. She had plenty of practice. And then just recently, my son's in the Air Force. He's in Germany, and like Edna, I have a little Joshua and was born in Germany, and I had a bad feeling that my son's going to be back in September, so I wasn't sure she was going to make it home in time. So I had them, when we went out, we took a picture. We brought it back and I blew it up, and I said, "Here, Mom, I want you to see your baby." So she went, "Oh, you're awesome." That's like West Virginia here, I just to let you know. But the proudest thing, again, was her house. This is her last visit to the house. I snuck her out of the nursing home, and I said, "We're going home." And I took her inside the house, and she said, "We can't go in there. Somebody else lives there now." I said, "No, Mom, this is your home. This is your home till you go to heaven." And we went inside, and all the pictures were on the refrigerator, everything exactly how she left it was exactly the same. And she sat on the sofa, and she said, "I'm home." And then, just before she passed, there's a good picture of my mom, holding up a picture of her when she was a child. But she was really, really just a wonderful mother. I couldn't have asked for anybody better. She loved all of us. I've heard many times that Michael was the favorite, but I never felt that way.
You didn't follow him in school.
I just think, but the one thing she told all of us is if we gained any weight when we came home, we were told that, hey, lose a little weight. She was cut dry in black and white. It wasn't in gray. You know, you were right and you were wrong. But she was usually right. She was usually right. And so when she was ill towards the end, Mom didn't like to look at my phone and look at 3,000 pictures I have on my phone. She liked to look at pictures, hard copies, and she would feel them, she would touch them, and she would show people. She'd turn around and she would show people. Well, one of them was me as the mountaineer when I was a mascot. And she showed everybody in that nursing home my picture. She even called people over. She's so good. Yeah, even Shady Sandy over there. Shady Sandy was a new friend of Mom every day. Mom every day, she said, "I know you." And Mom could tell you everything that happened in 1938, but she couldn't. She had forgotten the people she was with at the nursing home. But Shady Sandy always was there for her, and Carol was great. We had great people there, and it was good. And Ed Beresford there, Mom hit the gate all the time, backing out of the driveway. So Ed used to have to pull the car backwards for her so she wouldn't hit the gate. So he did that all the time, and every time Mom fell down, Ed and Nancy were there for her. And we just had a great neighborhood. Mr. Frizzell was looking after Mom for the last 3 or 4 years of her life, and he kept everybody informed what was going on. And the whole neighborhood was really great. And Jim here, Leo, I had to hear about Leo all the time. Jim's dog's name is Leo, Jim and Betty. And my mom, when the dog was barking, she said, "Leo, be quiet." She yelled as loud as she could. She called him nincompoop. Yeah, but Mom loved dogs, and she loved Leo, but she yelled at Leo all the time. And we were fortunate. We had Frizzell's as neighbors, we had Beresford's as neighbors, we had Jim, and we had Cindy and Jerry. We had the best neighbors. We had Brian St. Meyer down the street, the Pollings, the Beresfords. We had a great. And I know I've missed out several people. We had a great neighborhood that supported everybody. And we had the one last thing we did this past summer. We had a picnic, a community picnic in my mom's backyard, and we had so many friends come back. So many came back, and Mom was sitting in there in the back yard like she did for 65 years in that house, and we had a picnic. It was
A wonderful day.
it was a wonderful day. It was great. Everybody enjoyed themselves, but it was good just to be home. It was good to feel like it was 1970 again. So I think I've rambled long enough. I'll give it off to number 7 if I can find it.